So much love coming from
you,
Dave. We used to call Dave Double D, by the way. I heard Eric call him that the other day. You like that, Dave?
Yeah, that's fine. I even go by D squared.
That's true.
Dave has brought Wobble Wobble Wednesday back to its rightful place. And I know someone was wobbling, what was it, last night? 2 nights ago, Clyde?
Oh, yeah.
Up at the Gin Blossoms with Jacques Doucet and his...
Not so much wobbling as much as it is seeing a fantastic band for a great cause in Red Rock and Blue. It was awesome time, awesome night. Gin Blossoms, I've seen them now 3 times live, and they are fantastic every time.
Is that Jacques Doucet's favorite band? Jacques, is that your favorite band?
No, it's not. I know his favorite band.
Van Halen.
It is.
See, I know this.
Van Halen, without a doubt, is my favorite band. Clyde, welcome surprise. I didn't realize you'd be co-hosting.
Clyde's an everyday fixture now on Dunc Holder. He's wormed his way in, and we gave him an actual seat and a microphone.
Wormed is a good verb.
Well, he deserves it. We appreciate Clyde being part of a sold-out crowd on the Sunday night to hear the Gin Blossoms and all their hits for military charities in Louisiana. So it was awesome. So.
Well, just since we're talking about that, just kind of give a plug. I mean, what's next? I know you've been doing this for plenty of years, and it's been a rousing success.
Well, Larry, I started a 501c3, a nonprofit organization called Red Rock and Blue, and we do events throughout the year. Our biggest events are typically in the summer with the big softball tournament and celebrity softball game. We do concerts here and there, and all the money we can raise goes to local military charity organizations like the Blue Star Moms of Louisiana, support our war heroes, wounded war heroes. We keep the money local, and we just like to have fun and do it for a great cause. And the Gin Blossoms were on tour celebrating the 25th anniversary of a new miserable experience, and they came in, played the album start to finish, and we had a great time. So check out our website, redrockandblue.com.
All right, good deal. Jacques Doucet, WAFB TV, up in Baton Rouge, joining us right here on Dunc Holder. Kind of a two-pronged conversation I want to have with you. Might as well start with basketball since they're just coming off of a game. And it's amazing, last night, LSU fought back into it. Dwight misses a dunk, and then the wheels completely fall off as LSU goes down to Alabama up in Tuscaloosa. Just what's your overall perspective of this team? I know expectations were not that high, and yet from me watching down here and watching them play, I at least feel like it's a plus in the positive direction that we're talking about them, that they're at least relevant, and there's hope going forward.
Yeah, Larry, before Will Wade was hired, the talk here was whoever gets this job is really going to have to eat it in the first year because it's going to be a terrible situation. Antonio Blakeney's leaving. The roster really was devoid of talent. And we said whoever comes in the first year is really going to get beat up. And Will Wade, to his credit, hustled like nobody could hustle to overhaul the roster, to get some good players in place, and to have them in conversation for an NIT at least, I think is a huge credit to Wade. They've got a top 2 or 3 recruiting class coming in next year with the things that they are missing, which is toughness in the paint, rebounding, block shots. I think that's coming in with the recruiting class next year. And so we've seen him, go 4-0 against Texas A&M and Arkansas, and win a game in Maui against Michigan. And then we've also seen LSU really see how far they have to go, getting humbled by Notre Dame in Hawaii, getting smashed by Auburn on the road, and then last night by Alabama in Tuscaloosa. Avery Johnson's in his 3rd year. Will Wade's in his 1st. So, I think things are moving in the right direction. Will Wade, and I say this in a complimentary way, he's kind of crazy. I mean, he is so just into this, every detail. He is so obsessed with making LSU a winner that even after the losses, fans feel somewhat good because they see how upset he gets and how focused he is on getting them better.
All right, Jacques, switching gears and going to maybe a program that's not quite as optimistic right now. For whatever reason, there's a lot of anxiety in the LSU fan base with the football program under Coach O. What is your take on the signing day? How do you feel about that? Obviously, they missed on a few targets, Pat Surtain in particular. Do you put much stock in that, or do you feel like that class is good enough to carry this team forward in Ed Ogeron's 2nd season?
Well, Jeff, he said, and it was a difference. And Coach O and Coach Les Miles are going to get up at press conferences on Monday in the game week and say what they're missing in recruiting. And right off the bat, I think it was around the Troy game or whatever, he said we don't have any offensive linemen or defensive linemen, and they addressed that. They got a lot of those guys in the trenches. Certainly, they didn't finish in February like they wanted to in this new format where they had 4 spots open. Certainly not to get the backup plan when it came to corner. Hurts. I think a lot of people pointed to Coach Orgeron and they said, well, he's not an expert on the offensive side of the ball. He's not an expert on the defensive side of the ball. What does he bring to the table? Well, he's a recruiter, and he'll go out and he'll recruit and put together awesome classes. He's in Louisiana. He's a Louisiana guy. He can sell it. And I think there was, for LSU to finish outside of the top 10 in national recruiting, their lowest ranking, some people said 2012, some people said 2005, but whatever the case may be, it was not an outstanding class. And it's not so much what LSU is doing, it's who you're competing against. With Georgia up and running the way they are with Kirby Smart, Nick Saban doing what he's doing over there, Tom Herman at Texas had a top 4 or 5 class. So I think, just a lot of things happen to kind of create kind of a negative ball here with Notre Dame winning on that late touchdown pass. A lot of people not liking Steve Ensminger getting the job as the offensive coordinator and then not finishing. It'll be a very interesting year. The schedule is murder next year, and we've got big-time questions at quarterback, who's the running back, and can these wide receivers grow up and get on the field.
Jacques Doucet, WAFB TV, joining us right here on Dunc and Holder. All right, let's switch gears to at least a team that you expect to be good every year, LSU baseball team. We all followed their journey last year. It was a great ride. Just fell just short in the national championship series. But you look at kind of the expectations, at least what the media is predicting, and LSU is kind of on the lower end of this thing. Just what are we to expect considering LSU taking on Notre Dame to open up the 2018 baseball season this weekend?
Well, they were picked 4th in the SEC West by the coaches. And Coach Maneri certainly that got his attention. I think Mississippi State was picked 5th in the West as well. And I guess you take a look at what they lost off of last year's team and some big question marks. That's fine. I mean, these polls, you've got 5 or 6 college baseball polls. Sometimes LSU's ranked like 3rd in one and they're 15th in another. I mean, it's kind of crazy. You obviously have a playoff and you have a way of finding out who's best. You have a 56-game regular season. It's a marathon. I think they have questions about their pitching. Certainly, Zach Hess became a superstar last year in the postseason for his closer role. Now they're going to try to see if they can make him a starter. There's big question marks there. Can he give you 5, 6, 7 innings or not? Caleb Gilbert was really good last year. He'll be one of the pitchers. Todd Peterson is another kind of question mark in the weekend rotation. You got young players like Brant Broussard, who's a JUCO transfer from Delgado there, who's going to be plugged in at second base. Josh Smith now takes over at shortstop. There's a lot of different questions out there, but Coach Maneri, since his first year in 2007, really has kept LSU in national power, a top 5 national seed. Over the last, I think it's 7 years in a row, something like that. And he knows what the expectations are. Nobody gives him a mulligan over here. And it'll be interesting to see Sean Ochinko now, the hitting coach. But and they're starting with some big name teams right off the bat. Notre Dame comes in this weekend. Texas comes in next weekend, and Coach Maneri knows that Blake Dean and UNO beat them twice last year in the midweek game. So it's time to play ball on Friday.
Jacques, how do you think the rest of the spring's going to go along that route? Obviously, it seems that LSU fans are now at least taking men's basketball as the rightful third sport, as kind of like the midway point between football and LSU baseball. How do you think the rest of the spring ends up with how LSU men's basketball finishes up going into baseball, and then how they finish up going into really, if they really want to play and do what they can do, really June, July?
Well, Clyde, you were here long enough. The joke used to be that LSU basketball you had between National Signing Day in the beginning of February and the first LSU baseball game, say mid-February, to get fans' attention. And if you didn't, they dialed out and they were done with it. And I think that's going to change. I think fans are still coming to the games a lot more than what they used to. And I think next year that place is going to be rocking. And really, people are unhappy. A lot of people are unhappy with football and the way that's going. And that is your big revenue producer. Basketball makes money, and then baseball makes a little money. But really, LSU in the springtime, they've got a lot of powerhouse sports going over here. LSU softball is going to be going for their 4th straight trip to a College World Series. Baseball, we've talked about. Good things come to those who wait and grind. Dee Dee Bro now in her 41st year has made LSU a national power in gymnastics. They're selling out the building, for heaven's sakes, for college gymnastics. Track and field has a long legacy here. So there's a lot of great things going on here at LSU in spring, and it looks like the weather's going to be good here, guys, for the next couple weeks. Highs like in the high 70s, lows in the high 50s, 60s. So, the daylight savings time's coming up March 11th, and it's kind of when we get our energy in the spring. There's a lot of cool things going on here in Baton Rouge coming up.
All right, Jacques Doucet, WAFB TV up in Baton Rouge. Hey, Jacques, appreciate the time. As always, my friend, good catching up with you.
Okay, guys, thanks for having me on your show.
You got it.
Thanks,
Jacques Doucet, WAFB TV. I should have called for an impersonation. I was waiting for it.
Well, we could have gotten a good Fletcher Mackel impersonation.
Or Paul Maneri.
Paul Maneri is
great
probably
Les.
the best
John
one.
Brady, Les, you name it.
Yeah, his Paul Maneri is by far his best one. I mean, we've done it enough, me and him, at other random practice facilities that it's now just almost second nature.
In a former life.
In a former life, that's trying to talk about less and less every day that goes by.
But that's why I keep bringing it back, because I want to hear more and more.
There are other things there, and then like when you do a good job of bringing it out of me, then yes, we will talk about it off air.
Off air? No.
Maybe on air too. Sometimes it depends.
Can't cheat the listeners.
That's
We let you go on rants. How about you go on like an SID rant?
You don't want that. You don't want that. No,
Yeah, we do.
No, we don't.
Yes, I do.
No, we don't. I think it's time to go to a break for the last segment.
It's amazing. Clyde wants to go to a break. That's a first. Wobble Wobble Wednesday. One more segment here. Come on back. Sports 1280, NOLA.com, the iHeartRadio app, Dunc Holder.